As most of you know, there's been an ongoing trend discussing trivia and information for any given series in the form of icebergs, which involves discussing trivia in order from common knowledge to obscure details the further down you go. While I haven't been able to make a Cave Story Iceberg video myself, I was actually brought on to an already existing iceberg project started by other community members as its unofficial producer. The team dedicated tons of time into making this happen, and I'm happy to share it all with you. Without further ado, please sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Kero Blaster. Kero Blaster is the subsequent commercial game Pixel released roughly a decade after Cave Story. It is published by Playism, who specializes in indie game localizations. In it, you play as the salaryman frog who works for Cat and Frog, a teleporter company. It's more of a linear game with simpler graphics, but the gameplay mechanics and level design are refined and extremely fun. 1 year after release, it was updated for free with remixed harder levels and new story content, more than doubling the length of the game. It's currently available on PC, iOS, PS4, and the Nintendo Switch. Curly's Panties, Chaco's Lipstick Rouge, Alien's Medal. These items are optional secrets that are easy to miss. Curly's Panties can be found by following an invisible path in her sand zone bedroom, and in later ports actually unlock Curly's story. Chaco's unique item, whose name depends on the translation, can be obtained by immediately sleeping in her bed when she walks over to her fireplace in one brief cutscene. Finally, the alien medal is obtained by defeating Ironhead without taking any damage, which also has a bunch of Ikachan squids pop up to congratulate you. The items themselves are functionless and don't do anything other than having unique descriptions. Best ending. Did you know that Cave Story has a secret ending? An ending where more characters survive, you get a better booster jetpack, and a bigger threat than the Doctor is revealed? To most Cave Story fans, this is common knowledge, and perhaps silly to mention, but think about this. Honestly ask yourself, if you hadn't looked it up, would you have figured out how to trigger it? It's very possible to play the entire game blind and have no clue that an alternate path was even available. Why is it so obfuscated and hidden? Why does this ending exist in the first place? As we sink further down the rabbit hole, perhaps these questions and more will be answered. Mimiga Mask Ending. Did you know that Cave Story has another secret ending? An ending so unique from the others that Nicholas has listed it in the description of the game? Guess what it changes? Come on, guess! Basically, nothing. After Momorin and Ito complete the rocket, you must talk to Momorin to return your Mimiga mask and get back to the booster that was borrowed. You can however ignore her and rush through to the end of the game without a booster. This is a bit more difficult without the extra maneuverability, but still definitely possible. Doing so grants you a few minor dialogue differences, and that's it. The ending plays out exactly the same, except on the commercial ports you do get alternate credits art featuring your spiffy new mask. A very minor thing, but a secret ending nonetheless. White Tokoro's theme. While playing throughout the main game and its various endings, a player can hear up to 39 unique tracks. This is true for all versions of Cave Story. Nevertheless, there are secret additional tracks that can be triggered to play outside the main game. The first two we'll look at are included in the freeware release. If the player picks up the 290 timer in the outer wall and completes the Bloodstained Sanctuary in record time, they'll be rewarded with an altered title screen. Getting a time of under 6 minutes will switch out Quote Sprite with Curly and play the track Running Hell instead of the main theme, and getting a super fast time of under 3 minutes will feature Sue in the track Safety. In between these two, however, is the result of getting sub 5 minutes and sub 4 minutes, which result in 2 hidden tracks not heard anywhere else. Sub 5 minutes will display Tokoro and play the appropriately named track Tokoro's Theme, and hitting under 4 minutes will feature King and play a track that is called White internally. Later commercial releases have altered how this title screen Easter egg works, but for the most part these two tracks are only unlocked for playback by meeting these timed conditions. One interesting thing of note is that OrgView, a jukebox program that comes included with the freeware game, only features Tokoro's theme and does not include White. Likewise, when the game hopped over commercially to WiiWare with a new soundtrack, only Tokoro's theme was remixed by composer Jan van der Kurissen. It is unknown why White is omitted from the official soundtrack setting, and 99% of fans don't know what to call it other than what it is called internally. Is there perhaps an official track name hiding somewhere? Cave Story Plus Date Easter Eggs. In all versions of Cave Story Plus, there are 3 Easter eggs that are triggered on 3 separate dates. Starting from the week of October 26th, the game will launch in Halloween mode with altered graphics. Then on December 24th, the game will launch in Christmas mode for the following 2 weeks, again with altered graphics. Finally, launching the game on exactly April 29th and setting the music to New, or Cave Story Plus in some ports, will replace the main theme with the Ika-chan theme song. This is an Easter egg celebrating Daisuke Amaya's birthday, and on the Steam release you'll even get an achievement wishing him a happy birthday. Translation differences. Because of the unique release history of Cave Story, there's actually more than one English translation of the game. The first fan translation of Cave Story, completed by Aeon Genesis, released roughly a month and a half after the original freeware release. 5 years later, in the first official port of Cave Story, Nicholas provided a new, more accurate translation of Cave Story with Pixel's oversight. While in similar circumstances one would expect fans to flock to the official translation, that hasn't been the case. While Nicholas is undeniably the most accurate to the original Japanese script, many fans prefer how Aeon Genesis took slight liberties in writing arguably more natural dialogue and descriptions. To this day, there is still an active debate within the fan community as to which translation is superior, ultimately coming to a compromise that both versions have their pros and cons. Cthulhu. These mysterious native inhabitants are called Cthulhu, which is a fictional cosmic entity created by American writer H.P. Lovecraft. They are one of the only species that can speak to the player yet have no backstory on why they are there on the island. Furthermore, their dialogue often serves as either foreshadowing to future plot details, gameplay tips to the player, or incidentally altering the course of the game and giving the player an opportunity to change the ending. The characters pretty much exclusively serve a meta purpose in the game with how they break the fourth wall, and that's pretty much all we know about them. Normal ending cutscenes. Here is a question: what is canon for the normal ending? One of the last cutscenes in the game shows the island crashing into the surface followed by a loud bang, and in Cave Story 3D it shows an explosion happening. But does everyone in the island perish? Followed after this doom and gloom is the credits, which features cutscenes of characters still inside the island, seemingly taking place after the Doctor has fallen. These cutscenes seemingly don't make sense for the normal default ending. As we explore further down the iceberg, we'll learn that there was an earlier version of the best ending that was scrapped, one focused on Genka and the other characters rebuilding the island after the core is weakened. Does this version of events have remnants explaining what's happening in these cutscenes?